I was 5 years old, living in Mexico, and one morning my mother woke me up, told me to get my sisters to the car because we were leaving. That morning, we fled from my abusive father in Mexico, came to start our new lives in New York. Fast forward, we were a poor immigrant family with a single mother trying to raise 3 kids on her own. We had no documentation, and thus no governmental help or federal aid, and we were basically alone. My childhood was a bit tough. We would have to move from apartment to apartment every year. Vacations were for other people, not for us. Any luxuries that you can think of, we probably didn't have. But nonetheless, my mother worked every day in and day out, blood, sweat, and tears, to make sure that my sisters and I not only survived, but thrived. And I remember I always thought to myself what the point of all this was. What's the point of trying to make a living in a country that barely even wants us here? And once I started high school, I really began to grasp how much my mother was doing for us, for my sisters and I. And once I understood how much effort she was putting in, how much courage and will it took her to keep fighting and to keep doing what she had to do, I made myself a promise that I was going to take advantage of all of the opportunities I could find in this new country and make the most of it. And I was going to be successful, however I ended up doing it, and I was going to get my family out of poverty. First step was to get into college. And thankfully, through my efforts in high school, I was able to get into Brooklyn College Macaulay Honors Program. Even though I was undocumented, Brooklyn College and CUNY's took me in, and the Macaulay Honors Program gave me a full scholarship, which was pretty much my only option in terms of college. And college was a very, very new environment for me. It was very open and free, and almost as if it was just a breath of fresh air. And it presented all these new opportunities that I had never seen before. Namely, at the hillel. The hillel constantly had weekly events with free food and events discussing, exploring culture and ethnicity and background, similarities and differences. And I was very drawn to it. I was very eager to explore this side of me that I'd never even thought about. And right away, I had met Rosita, who was the student affairs coordinator at the hillel. And she made something very clear to me, that in the Brooklyn College hillel, connections are what matter. As a matter of fact, when I first met her, I didn't even know she was working at the hillel. I just thought she was some random college student that just wanted to talk to me. We had spoken about our lives, our backgrounds, where we were from, what we did, how we got here, what we wanted out of life. It was only until the week after when I finally found Rosita in the office working, and I was like, "You work here?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay." So in the hillel, I apparently gave off this vibe that I wanted to be a student leader. I guess I was getting very involved, but I was only a participant at the time. And Rosita came up to me and told me about this opportunity for a leadership retreat that was funded by a big grant from Bridging the Gap. And I told her, I'm not so sure. I can't even afford a weekend away. And she said, don't worry about the money. Will you go? I told her I'm not sure. I was just used to being a kid who had to work his ass off to pay rent, not get to go on these fancy weekends for leadership training. And she convinced me slowly. And I said, okay, fine, I'm down, I'll go. And so she pushed me to go, and she covered the money, so I was, I had really no reason not to go. And I remember at this retreat, this was my first experience with leadership, almost. And I felt so good to be somewhere where it almost seemed like I was respected and esteemed. And I was getting all this professional training alongside so many other students. And it really gave me the budding fire of my leadership voice. After getting back to campus, I loved the weekend so much. I loved that leadership retreat so much. I wanted to keep going. I wanted to do more. I immediately got more involved in leadership. I joined API and went on a bunch of conferences to Washington, to Florida, all leadership retreats. Any opportunity I saw to develop my leadership voice, I took. Bridging the Gap, API, and the David Project, and Hillel. Fast forward a little bit more, I eventually became Hillel president in Brooklyn College, and my goal was to give other students the opportunities that I had. And I remember the first thing I noticed as the Hillel president was that a lot of students are very fearful in a way, and are very shy and timid about getting involved and finding their leadership voice. And I thought back to what brought me to where I was. I thought back to what gave me the courage to do these things. And I remembered what it was. It was Rosita. It was my mom. It was these two women that at different stages in my life saw something in me and invested. With my mom, she showed me how much effort it took, and she gave me the courage to face the world. And with Rosita, she blurred the line between student and friend and faculty, and she showed me that I matter to her. As a professional, I mattered to her. And she stepped out of her boundaries, way out of her boundaries sometimes, just to make me feel comfortable. Just to push me to do things that she thought were good for me. And that honestly gave me the drive to keep doing that. And that gave me the drive to do things like she did to me. I wanted to show every student at Brooklyn College that they can do things that they never thought they could. And past that, my experiences didn't just help me with the Hillel. It really pushed me forward in my professional career as well. It gave me the drive and the will to go for anything. I taught myself the violin. That's something that was honestly a product of the investment that was put into me. That was something I did myself, but because other people gave me the courage to. Now I'm in a grad program for physical therapy in LIU, and I feel so loved there, and I feel so belonging. But that's because I have the courage myself. That was given to me by the Hillel, by the leadership trainings, by the investment, by the quality of connection that I had. The one thing I'm really proud of as I left the Hillel, my last year there, myself and the board, the Hillel board, planned a Hillel retreat, another one. We wanted to do something similar to what we experienced when we were freshmen. And unfortunately, past that, after our freshman year, we weren't really able to do anything like that because our Hillel had no funding. But we wanted to anyway. We wanted to give the next generation of leaders a chance to see that they are leaders. A chance to give them the courageous voice that I found. And through a lot of work, we managed to actually plan and execute a luxury Hillel retreat. And we did. And now all those kids that went all have positions on E-board and G-board positions. They all found their leadership voice, and they're all continuing what I had started and what Rosita started before me and what I'm sure someone started before her. But it was that initial courage to step out of her boundaries, to blur the line between professional and student, and invest her love and support in me that led me to do the same for others. And going forward, I learned very much that people care. They really do. And when they show it, you start to believe yourself that you matter and that you have the ability to do anything, and you find that courage. And I hope that I can continue in my life to help people find the courage to do what they love, and I hope that all of you can do the same. Thank you.